We're becoming quite aware of how popular, and I would say profitable, it is for companies and corporations to openly promote LGBTQ values. We're seeing that. And ultimately, it's a place in the United States where companies are being judged by that. That's something that's going on. And I've been seeing it for the past 10 years. I remember when gay marriage was finally legalized by President Obama in his second term. I want to note, he didn't make it legal in his first term. He was against it. The second term is when he made it legal. And I remember at that time there being an Oreo ad with a giant Oreo and all the rainbow colors for the cream. And I was thinking, does Nabisco really care? Well, what matters is they're going to sell more cookies if they make that ad. And now we see it a lot. But I want to point out something that I think is quite peculiar. So I was probably watching Joe Rogan on my phone, watching YouTube, and there was an ad before the video. And it was some kind of like makeup company, which is really funny because is the way our ads are directed to us. How in the world do I end up seeing this ad for makeup? So maybe my phone heard my wife talking or something, and that's how it generated the ad. So in this ad, it was very clearly people in that community, LGBTQ, and only them wearing this makeup, applying the makeup, okay? So it was very obvious. Okay, that's their agenda. They're really wanting to make sure that they're broadcasting that they're very much in favor of promoting the community. Get it, got it. I'm used to that. But as the ad went off, here's what I thought was interesting. Not only did they have everybody in the group, LGBTQ, they also had a whole spectrum of ethnic backgrounds. People with darker skin, people who are Asian. There may have been one Caucasian person on there, which is fine. They had a mix. So they had a mix of gender identifications, of sexual orientations on there, of skin color. They had all this array. But what did they not have? They didn't have people who had excess body fat. And I think that's very interesting, the way that they set that up. Because that's supposed to be one of these other concepts of the liberal movement, is that everybody's beautiful. Well, not in this ad. It was as if they couldn't take too many extremes. We're going to have every race and ethnicity in this ad, and we're going to have all identities, LGBTQ, maybe straight. There might have been a straight person in the video, I don't know. But that's all they could fit in there. They couldn't afford to have someone who was plus size. And I think that is really interesting. It's also interesting too that recently Victoria's Secret has changed their ads to feature women praising them for their accomplishments and not for their body, which is hilarious to me because that's the whole concept of Victoria's Secret, is that it's lingerie. But I get it. They're trying to sell a product, and that's always what it's about. It's about selling a product. So if they can appear to be more woke, that's what they're going to do, as long as it sells the product. And as an outsider here, I'm simply recognizing that. I'm not saying it's good or bad or that I even care either way, because I honestly don't. But I like to call things out like I see them when I see what's really going on. As we're now in the roaring 2020s, what we're going to see is that if a company wants to sell a product, they're going to be catering to people in LGBTQ. They're going to be catering to people of different ethnicities. But what's going to be interesting is if they also can afford to cater to people who are plus size. And the reason I say that is because when it's all said and done, no matter what companies say they believe or what happens on a magazine, you're still going to see thin people in magazines. Why? Because people pay money to see thin people. Even if they say something else, that image is really what sells it. Even in the makeup ad, they made sure not to have plus model people in that. And I think that's interesting, and I think to some degree it's hypocritical, because it's much more challenging for a company to have someone who's LGBTQ and an ethnic minority and plus size. You would think that that's the ideal, So far, I'm not really seeing that as the reoccurring model on the front of the magazine. Your thoughts belong right here.